Yo, what's poppin', everybody? Mikey Secco, Shallon's Finest Fisherman here, and we're bringing you one of our first episodes. And what better way to start off a channel dedicated to mainly the fishing of striped bass, but northeast fishing, northeast surf casting specifically, fishing, lure fishing. Very rarely is going to see any bait fishermen on this channel. Not that we have anything against it, it's just what we enjoy doing. And today we're going to be going over striped bass plugs, specifically metal lips. All right, and specifically, even more to that point, one specific plug maker, Vinnie Customs Baits. I'm going to leave his information below. You can contact him if you have his Instagram. Shoot him a DM if you like his stuff. And he definitely works with people. So you just let him know, and you send him some money, he'll send you some plugs and beautiful stuff. So we'll start off with, basic, a basic Danny. We got a couple different designs here. I got a plug like this, which is, it's a metal lip, but kind of got like a thicker, extra wider scoop on it, a wide lip, comparatively to the size of the actual plug itself, which will give this plug it'll a lot of holding power in the water. So a lot of just small tight tension on this, and you'll get that action. And plus a nice thick lip like this will let it dig in and really like hold tight. You know. Now, for instance, this plug is a Danny plug, and you could see the lip difference. The lip is smaller, shorter, but it's not meant to hold tight and dig in the water. And you could see the angle is a little steeper on this one, not by much, but it is. When I show you a diving star breaker and you compare the lips, you'll see what I'm talking about. Now this kind of is going to have this rolling action on the top of the water like that, where you'll see the eyes kind of roll back, roll back. That's the type of action this law will have. This law is going to have a tighter wiggle. Maybe the pivot point is going to be here. Not it's not going to roll so much like this. It's going to kick back, kick back. Okay. Now, depending on what you like, what action you're using for, you may want to go with different styles of different plugs. Like this is a Vinnie's Customs Starbreaker X, right? Here's the Starbreaker. Same style of plug, different lip. See, much more dramatic sweep to it. This plug dives right under, real deep, real quick. This one, I mean, you really would have. I mean, I'm sure you could get it to dive, but that wouldn't be the purpose of this. This one, you're kind of just going to roll along the top. If you may have a lot of debris under, you don't want to get snagged. A good, I guess, this is top water, nighttime stuff. If you got in a boulder field, if you're a lot of times fishing over a lot of rocky areas where you may get a snag here and there. These are great types of lures to have with you in the nighttime for that. Something like this is going to dive right down into a rock and get stuck. But this would be great in the inlet, or any place where you could cast off into a channel, sweep the bottom of the channel, a beach. And then you can go size difference. This is about a 4-inch. Get your 7-inch, and then the extra large, about a 9-inch. Now, these are going to all be different baits. The bottom one is going to be a peanut bunkers. Bunkers getting a little bigger, adult bunkers. Now, I cannot wait to use these guys. I haven't brought this one out yet, the extra large Starbreaker, but these are just beautiful, beautiful lures that when the adult bunker around, I just see these things killing it. Killing it. Asked Vinnie Customs to make me a purple and black for the new moon. this bad boy for the full moon, or if you guys up north fish the daytime, beautiful stuff here. Now this particular lure had two smaller hooks at the bottom. I opted out the two smaller ones for just one larger one in the front. You know, these kind of almost remind me of the small Gibbs 4-inch plugs. I haven't swam it yet, so I don't know if this is going to impart the action to a point where it's loses its action. Let's just say that's something you don't want to be doing. But I definitely would much more rather have one 3.0 or 4.0 size hook than two small hooks. To me, it's just it's easier for the fish to grab it. It's less to get snagged on. Now you got like a one fish lure, which I think are great. Sometimes it's all you really need, especially striped bass. When they're mostly hitting, they're not grabbing from the back like that. They're coming up and boom, taking it. So and when you're fishing, even if you have it cocked to the front, it's hanging in the back a little bit. So even if it hits it from the middle, it's swallowing that whole thing, Now, these I would say are akin to what you would say a Danny plug, right? Maybe this would be like an Adam 40 because it's a little bit of a more diving style. Here's the bigger version of the Adam 40. It's called the Invader. So if you're curious on what the series of these. Now this plug too, not a roll, just a wiggle, a nice wiggle. Center cocked wiggle. Beautiful full moon plug. Beautiful plug in general. Like just a really, really nice work. This guy's plugs really look good, man. Definitely one of the nicest plug makers in our local tackle shop. This guy has caught me quite a bit of fish. And then we also, now here, this is also another great thing about custom plugs, any type of custom lures. You could buy the same lure, right? These are both the same lure, same model, both Invader Juniors. One's white, one's green purple tint, and they have completely different use cases. Why? Well, it just pretty much comes down to that they're handmade. And because of that, they're all going to have slight differences. Now, if you look at this lure, look where the eye is in relation to the plug, okay? It's pretty much as, what would say, like a quarter of an inch from the middle. Look at the eye on this one. Much more closer to the bottom than to the middle. You see what I'm saying? So now as with this one has no problem diving, getting down real quick, real deep. This one won't dive at all, pretty much. This one stays right at the top. But I like that because now I know I have a great, nice size, thick profile that gives me a wiggle instead of a roll like the Danny plug. Give me a nice wiggle at the top. So this is what I will use this one for. And to me, even though they're the same plugs and they do two different things, in my head, they're for two different applications. So, I mean, to me, I kind of like that about the wooden plugs. I mean, yes, maybe if you're going to fish one particular spot and you need something there and you know what you want, yeah, and maybe go buy a Super Strike because you know exactly what it's going to be. But there's something about buying a wooden plug and then, finding the sweet spot in each plug and the sweet spot of swimming it and just, all those different types of things. Like every lure, sorry, my New York accent, every lure could be used effectively. You know what I mean? If you just take the time to figure out, the proper way to swim it, the speeds at which it will work. Is this the right spot? You don't want something diving, getting stuck. If you try, even if you tried to swim this on the top, I mean, just the slightest little pump, it dives. And the other day I just lost a lure because it was a diving lure. I was swimming a darter, a super strike, and it was a high tide, and it got stuck under a rock. There was no way I was able to get it. It was just in a spot, and now that's it. I've lost plenty of lures, so I really try to go out of the way to make sure I don't lose lures, especially because I'm casting very expensive lures into a place where I haven't fished before, so I don't know what's there. So, I tend, throw a bucktail or something, a light bucktail that can be replaced cheaply, fish it, and you see what you hit into. Then you know what you could fish before you start throwing a $20, $30 wooden plug, just to see what the area is like. I tend to bring these plugs out specific for the area that I know I'm going to fish that night. If I know I'm going to be in one of these spots where I'm fishing over boulders and I'm dragging something, over the surface, yeah, I'm going to stay with this guy as opposed to this one. Why? Because this one will stay on the top. This one will dive. This one will serve no good purpose for me in a spot like that. I need to bring things that, like this guy, dives very quickly. Great if you got a deep rip you want to get down into, and the action on this is beautiful. It's a tight wiggle, like boom 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 boom, right from the center axis. And it's just a great, beautiful size plug. A striper would have no problem just inhaling this whole thing and getting hooked up real quickly. But you can't use this if you're fishing off the shore on under a rocky set of waters. It's going to be bang bang. Then you got what do? You feel it get stuck, let some line off, and hopefully it'll float up, and then you could pull it in, and just take it off and don't use it again. So, especially when you are spending, and it costs you, $100, you buy four lures, you want to make sure that you don't take the time to lose them. I mean, one day I lost like 3 lures in a day, and I had just gotten them, and it was like, it's depressing. And sometimes, you're spending a lot of money to enjoy these different activities and enjoy these different trips and use these lures for a long time for us to fish and hopefully catch multiple fish on each of these lures. So you want to treat them, take care of them. And like I said, when I go out and I choose what lures I'm going to use, specifically metal lips in this particular case, it's all going to be based on where am I fishing. Am I fishing in deeper water? Am I fishing in is it going to be a strong current, a heavy current? Is it more of a back bay type thing? If the current's going to be a little stronger, yeah, I'm going to go for a metal lip that rides subsurface. You know what I mean? Because something like this one that stays right at the surface is just by the top, the little wave is just going to keep getting tossed over, making you constantly losing tightness with your rope, with the line. And that's no good. So if you find something like for instance, like let's say this one, you could fish this one slowly at the top if you want, very slowly, but just a little speed to this, and you got this thing right under the surface, unaffected by the being tossed over by the waves. So you got to think of that. But if you are, let's say, in a back calm bay, maybe I will want to throw this right at the top. It's just flapping all over, making all this commotion, and there's no waves, so it's just, it's full action is being exhibited to the fish. I mean, that's great for a thing like this, a color like this, just really call that fish out from those surrounding areas, and also it's good to have little guys too. This thing maybe is about 4 inches, but it's wood. It floats. It's a metal lip. It does have really good action. What have I done to beef up its capabilities? Like I said, I took the 2 small hooks off and I just put a large one in the front. And we're going to see, as long as the swimming action is still valid and it still looks good, we're just going to leave it just like that. That's all that it needs to be able to catch a fish. And I'm very much a fan of one treble hook in a lot of situations. It's mostly really what you need. I mean, especially two treble hooks, I think is just way too overkill. At most, a single flag hook, and that's it. Even these, just having a flag without a hook is nice in some cases. Even if you don't have two, like in this one large treble hook in the middle with a flag in the back, great for striped bass. That's what we're targeting. That's what we want to get. So, like I said, we're going to be finishing out this fall season here in Staten Island and the metro area, Long Island, New Jersey. But, we're looking, anybody ever want to come up, come visit with us, collab, drop me a comment. Please like, subscribe, share, and please take a look at my guy Vinnie Customs Baits. I'm gonna leave a link to his Instagram below, and I'll leave his information. I mean, he's from out of Connecticut. I mean, his plugs are just beautiful. They are really like some top notch stuff, and in my opinion, very affordable for what you're getting. You know what I mean? And they have, and the number one thing, anybody could paint a plug and make it look beautiful. But an unpainted plug with the action is by far more valuable than the most beautiful plug that cannot produce action. So, what I'm trying to say is just because somebody makes a plug look great doesn't mean it's a great plug. These plugs look great and swim great. They are great plugs. They're made of really good material. The tail wraps are tight. The Wolverine split rings. He's got really heavy duty grommets and snap swivels. All his lips always stay in place, never wobble out. The eyes are tight. I mean, really, I love these plugs. I mean, I really do. Shout out Vinnie Customs, Shallon's finest fisherman, and we'll check you back with another issue. All right, peace out.